Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into the details of Bangkok's luxury condo market. It's definitely evolving.
It is. Lots happening there.
And you're here because you want the insights, the clear picture, without getting lost, right? So that's what we're aiming for.
Exactly. We've been looking at a really useful blog post on this.
Yes, from Ocean Worldwide. They're a luxury real estate agency, actually based down in Phuket. Been there since 2004.
Right. And they really know the high-end property scene, not just in Phuket and Koh Samui where they focus, but across Thailand. Sandra O'Neill, the director there, has helped loads of people over the years.
So they've got a good perspective. Okay, so let's start with the big picture. What's the overall vibe of the Bangkok property market right now, according to them?
Well, the Ocean Worldwide post describes it as a mixed bag. It's definitely in recovery after what they call a rough patch.
Okay, a rough patch, so things are looking up.
Sort of. It's gradual. You see developers managing to clear some of their existing condo stock, often because they've, dropped prices a bit.
Right, trying to get things moving.
Exactly. But, and this is important, it hasn't really bounced back to pre-pandemic levels yet.
Got it. So, signs of life, developers clearing inventory, but not quite a boom, more like a slow climb back.
Precisely. And this is where it gets interesting and where Ocean Worldwide's focus on luxury really comes in.
How so?
Well, while the overall market is doing this slow recovery dance, the luxury condo segment, we're talking high-end branded residences, that part is actually doing pretty well.
Oh, really? That's quite a contrast.
It is. The post mentions sales rates over 80% for what they call super prime and prime condos. Oh, it's way different from the affordable end of the market, which is still struggling a bit.
Huh. That's a key insight then, a real split in the market.
Definitely a key nugget, especially if you're trying to understand the dynamics.
So the very top end is thriving. What kind of price points are we talking about for these luxury places?
We're looking at, according to Ocean Worldwide, a range of roughly 320,000 baht up to maybe 500,000 baht per square meter.
Wow, okay. That gives you a very clear idea of the luxury and super luxury tiers.
Yeah. And thinking about how quickly these are selling, the absorption rate tells another part of the story.
Right, the absorption rate. How's it looking?
So in the first 9 months of 2024, the rate was around 4.6 units per project per month.
Okay. Is that good? Bad? How did it compare?
Well, it's a bit better than 2023, which was 3.9. But if you look back at the peak in 2019, it was almost double that, 9.9 units a month.
Wow, okay. Big difference.
Yeah. And even compared to 2020, which was 6.4, or 2021, which was 4.6 like now, it shows things are improving slightly, but we're still quite a way off those peak levels.
Those numbers really paint a picture of the market shifts. So
Yeah.
what's driving these price changes in absorption rates in luxury? It can't just be one thing, right?
No, definitely not. Ocean Worldwide points to a few things working together. First, some developers have been cutting prices strategically, to keep cash flowing.
Makes sense. Get the sales in.
Right. And at the same time, there's actually been less new luxury condo supply coming onto the market.
Ah, so lower supply could push up prices for what's already there.
Potentially, yeah, for the existing high-end stuff. Plus, you've got more interest from expats moving to Bangkok, and tourism is picking up too. Both feed into demand, especially in those prime spots.
Okay, let's dig into that demand side. Who's buying these luxury condos? What are they actually looking for? Is it just about the fancy address?
It's much more than that now, according to Ocean Worldwide. Location is still critical, obviously, but today's luxury buyer wants the whole package.
Like what specifically?
Things like really high-end finishes, smart home tech integration is becoming standard. Access to green spaces within the building or nearby is a big one now.
Interesting. Green space is becoming more valued.
Definitely. And flexible floor plans, too. People want spaces they can adapt. Oh, and of course, panoramic views, exclusivity, privacy, those classic luxury demands are still very much there.
And you mentioned expats playing a big role.
Huge role. Ocean Worldwide's insights really stress this. Expats often want to be in central areas, new international schools, embassies, business districts. That directly fuels luxury condo demand.
And that demand is sensitive to other factors, I guess.
Oh, for sure. Things like visa rules changing, the global economy, even specific things like Chinese investment in the EEC, the Eastern Economic Corridor.
Right, that economic zone. Investment there could mean more people needing housing in or near Bangkok.
Exactly. It all connects.
The Ocean Worldwide post also mentioned the luxury rental market. Is that growing too?
Yes, significantly. And it's driven by a few different groups. Some people just prefer to rent first, test the waters before buying.
Sure, that makes sense in a new city.
Others might be there for shorter work stints, or they just want the luxury lifestyle without buying. And then you have the whole digital nomad and remote worker trend.
Ah, yes. They need flexible, furnished places with great internet.
Precisely. So you add that to recovering tourism and more expats generally. Demand for high-end rentals is definitely on the rise.
Okay, let's pivot to the supply side. Ocean Worldwide mentioned a glut of unsold condos. That sounds like a headache for developers.
It absolutely is. The sheer volume is significant. Think about this. Newly completed condos in Greater Bangkok hit 178.4 billion baht in value last year.
Wow, that's a lot of property.
It is, and the projection for 2025 is still high, around 140.6 billion baht. A big chunk of that remains unsold, which obviously puts pressure on prices and developer strategies.
But are they just stopping building altogether?
Not completely, no. Ocean Worldwide expects fewer new launches overall, but not a total halt. Developers are just being much more cautious.
More selective?
Very selective. They're assessing demand carefully. Some are shifting focus, maybe to places like Phuket.
Where Ocean Worldwide is based, right? Makes sense they'd see that shift.
Or shifting to different property types, like low-rise housing instead of condos. And interestingly, new supply in the premium segment dropped sharply.
How sharply?
Only about 600 premium units launched in the first 9 months of 2024. Compare that to over 3,100 in the same period the year before.
That's a massive drop. So with all this unsold stock and being cautious about new stuff, how are developers trying to sell what they have?
Well, Ocean Worldwide highlights a few tactics. Big discounts are definitely happening on completed unsold units.
We mentioned that. Any other approaches?
Yeah, various marketing angles, different sales incentives. Sometimes it's just about accepting lower profit to get cash flowing, especially with banks being tighter on mortgages now.
Right, harder for buyers to get loans.
Exactly. And developers themselves are under pressure. Many have a lot of debt maturing soon, over 156 billion baht combined within a year, apparently. Refinancing is a challenge.
That adds another layer of pressure to sell.
It does. You see it reflected in the supply mix for those first 9 months of 2024. Mostly economy and mass market units like 13,000 and 14,000 respectively, and just those 600 premium ones.
Let's talk tourism again.
Yeah.
How directly does that feed into the luxury condo market?
Ocean Worldwide emphasizes a really direct positive link, especially high-end tourism. As more visitors return, particularly looking towards 2025, demand for places to stay goes up.
Like short-term rentals.
Yeah, but also potentially people buying. They mentioned Phuket's condo market as a good example. Tourism bounced back strongly there, and the condo market felt it.
And it's not just tourists staying a week or two?
No, the Ocean Worldwide piece points to growing long-term rental demand, too. From expats, digital nomads, retirees, people looking for comfortable, often luxurious, longer stays.
And that pushes up rental prices.
In prime locations, yes, it puts upward pressure on rents.
So bottom line on tourism's impact on luxury condos.
Increased demand, both short and long term, which can lead to potentially higher prices. And it might make developers less willing to offer big discounts, maybe focusing more on building high-end units if they see that demand strengthening.
Okay, but what about the buyers themselves? Ocean Worldwide mentioned challenges with purchasing power.
Yes, that's the other side of the coin. Getting a mortgage is tougher right now. Banks are being more cautious.
So fewer people can actually qualify to buy.
Pretty much. And you also have high household debt levels in Thailand generally. That limits people's capacity to take on a big loan for a condo.
And just general economic confidence plays a role too, I imagine.
Absolutely. Buying property is a huge decision. People need to feel confident about the economy and their own financial future.
So looking ahead into 2025, what's the prediction from Ocean Worldwide for the luxury market? Stable. Up. Down.
Their outlook suggests price stabilization is likely, especially in the really popular prime areas.
Okay, so maybe not big drops anymore in those spots.
Probably not. But that overhang of unsold inventory, especially in older buildings, could still push prices down there. Interestingly, they think the mass market segment might actually perform best overall in 2025.
And developers.
Yeah.
Still focused on selling off stock.
Yeah, inventory management will likely be the main focus. That probably means fewer new luxury launches and more promotions or discounts on existing stuff.
So signs of recovery, better absorption, more expats, tourism, but tempered. by these purchasing power issues and high mortgage rejection rates.
Exactly. It points towards a gradual recovery, not a sudden surge. You see that in the absorption growth rates they tracked from 2021 to 2024. Mass market grew fastest at 7% per year, luxury next at 6%, then economy at 5%, but premium only grew 1% per year on average.
Wow, that really highlights the difference between segments. The Ocean Worldwide post also stressed location, location, location. That's still true for luxury condos.
Oh, absolutely critical. Ocean Worldwide, with their experience across Thailand, really hammers this home. Prices vary massively depending on where in Bangkok you are.
So not all luxury is priced the same.
Not even close. Prime spots like Riverside versus areas further out, huge difference. It comes down to prestige, convenience, amenities. If you're looking at value, you have to consider the specific district.
Can you give some examples, like which areas are top tier?
Sure. The Post mentions Sukhumvit, always popular, always pricey because it's so central and well-connected. Sathorn, the main business district, also commands high prices for its high-end condos. The Riverside area, stunning views, very exclusive feel, premium price tag.
And slightly less pricey, but still desirable.
Areas like Ari were mentioned. It's trendy, popular, but generally luxury options. There might be a bit more reasonably priced compared to, say, Sukhumvit or Sathorn core areas.
And even within luxury, Ocean Worldwide breaks it down further, doesn't it? Different tiers.
Yeah, that's a helpful distinction. There's ultra luxury at the very top, think 300,000 baht per square meter and up. Prime location, best finishes, super exclusive.
Okay, the absolute peak.
Then high-end luxury, maybe 200,000 to 300,000 baht per square meter. Still great locations, quality finishes.
Still very premium.
And then what they call affordable luxury, though still luxury, maybe 150,000 to 200,000 baht per square meter. It might be slightly further out, but still decent quality and amenities.
That's useful context. Now, for listeners thinking about investing, does Ocean Worldwide see opportunities in Bangkok's luxury market despite the challenges?
Yes, the analysis suggests it still holds appeal, particularly those really resilient segments, super luxury branded residences. Demand there, especially from expats, seems strong.
And maybe those developer discounts create openings.
Exactly. Ocean Worldwide notes investors are becoming more active, likely trying to capitalize on some of those discounts.
What about potential returns? And what are the big risks?
Returns really depend on specifics, location, property type, market timing. Rental income is key, especially from expat-focused condos and prime spots. Capital appreciation is possible, particularly where new supply is limited.
Not the risks.
Well, the stricter mortgage rules are a risk, impacting future buyers. High household debt, the oversupply issue in some segments, and crucially, the financial health of the developer. You need to look at their debt, their unsold inventory.
Like, do your homework on the developer.
Definitely. Plus, broader economic risks, regulatory changes, currency fluctuations. All things to consider.
You mentioned developer promotions. Ocean Worldwide went into more detail on those strategies.
Yeah, those discounts on unsold stock, sometimes 20–30%, are significant, driven by that oversupply and debt pressure. It creates opportunities, as we said.
Beyond just cutting prices.
Oh, yeah. For luxury, it's about sophisticated marketing. Exclusive events, slick digital presentations, high-quality photos, virtual tours, even partnerships with other luxury brands to build that exclusive image.
Creating an experience, not just selling a condo.
Exactly. And they offer other incentives, too, not just discounts. Things like guaranteed rental returns for a period, furniture packages thrown in, waiving fees like transfer or maintenance costs for a while.
Trying to sweeten the deal in multiple ways.
Exactly.
Okay, looking further out. Any future trends? Ocean Worldwide flags.
A few interesting ones. New types of buyers emerging, like digital nomads or second home buyers. They might have different needs, maybe smaller units, but with top-notch facilities versus bigger family places used less often.
Right. Different demands. What else?
Technology, obviously. Smart home features becoming expected lighting, climate security, all automated. VR tours becoming more common. And developers using data analytics more to figure out what buyers actually want.
And sustainability. Is that becoming a factor?
Increasingly so, yes. More focus on eco-friendly buildings, sustainable materials, energy-efficient designs, things like solar panels, rainwater harvesting, green roofs. And just having green spaces integrated is becoming a bigger selling point.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, drawing on that Ocean Worldwide analysis, it really is a complex picture for Bangkok's luxury condos.
Definitely. You've got strength at the very high end. But the broader market is still working through challenges, economic factors, that unsold inventory.
Tourism and expat demand are clearly major drivers.
Vital roles, yes. So for anyone watching this market, whether buying or investing, you really need to understand both the opportunities, like those discounts, and the risks, like developer stability and mortgage issues.
It's a dynamic situation.
It really is. And maybe a final thought for you to consider is, how will all these different threads, the economy, buyer tastes, tourism recovery, developer strategies, how will they weave together to shape Bangkok's luxury landscape in the next, say, 5 or 10 years? Which specific segments or locations might really transform? It's something to keep an eye on.